Welcome to the world of fashion, where style, elegance and good looks are all the ingredients needed to be a high fashion model. However, there's evidently a lack of Black and Asian models, and insiders say they make up less than 1% of those represented in UK's mainstream modelling. Naomi Campbell has also constantly addressed the issue, which has in recent times been overshadowed by the size zero debate. But now, in 2010, perhaps there's need to take a look at those affected and find out what exactly has changed. Meet Siobhan Lewis, aged 23, who's living and working in London. Adeola, aged 21, who currently lives in Nottingham. And Priya Pratani from Essex, aged 25. They are all models signed to various agencies across the UK, all from different backgrounds with diverse lines of experience. Yet the three of them have one thing in common. They represent a group of people in the industry that tend to find it hard to break into mainstream.
I was born here, but both my parents are Jamaican, and I've lived in Jamaica, I've lived here, kind of lived all over, which is nice.
Siobhan has set big goals. She wants to feature in campaigns for major labels such as Dior or Chanel, and by the end of this year she has her mindset on being in one of the larger shows at London Fashion Week. This is an area that has been targeted for not featuring enough models of colour, and in 2009 it was reported that black models did not even make a third of those involved in major Fashion Week shows. And this is more reason why she is determined to do it.
These are currently some of the latest images that are a mixture of heads.
Siobhan has currently reached the semi-finals for a competition judged by Naomi Campbell and is also the face of a new beauty campaign. However, she has worked very hard to reach where she is now and strongly believes a lot needs to change if we want to see more Black and Asian models on catwalks and in fashion editorials.
Say if you've got a Chanel or Dior, chances are if you're a black model, you're gonna get a Caucasian model picked over you. And that's because they have set looks that they go for, and breaking out of that is not always the norm, or it's the thing of, and some people let them own themselves down as in models where they don't show up on time for castings or call times for gigs and then expect to be paid, or then expect that they're going to get the images straight away, or come with that diva mentality, or just in general just really don't care about what they're doing. And if you start doing that enough, then people feed into that, and then why would you want to then cast or waste time? You're then going to pull from a selection that are going to be consistent, going to get the work done and deliver what you need. And for some of your mainstream stuff like a Dior or Chanel, chances are when you're doing those gigs, if you're not there at that call time, they've already found someone else to replace you. They're working on such quick pace that you've got to be able to keep up. So I can see kind of why they do it, and I don't agree with it, but it does make sense at the same time. I would just say you've got to develop some strong ethics, like business ethics. You've got to approach this that this is your day job, this is your 9 to 5.
Because of the evident gap in the market, there's been an effort by some to fill it up with the arrival of agencies such as Caramel Models that represent Asian models specifically. Priya understands all too well that it's difficult to break into mainstream, and like many Asian models, most of her work tends to obtain more recognition in the area of Asian modelling.
With Asian modelling, they look for not only a size zero, they look for a woman with more curves. So I think it's a total different ballgame, to be honest. Mainstream modelling might be like the tall, skinny, Caucasian looking models, whereas we are a total different entity. We don't concentrate on what mainstream concentrate on. Focus is the same, as in we do modelling, we walk down a runway, we do photo shoots. We have done a few shows like that we are in touch with certain like well-known labels. So we're not there yet, but hopefully we're trying.
There is evidently a lack of the amount of Asian models that are in like mainstream fashion editorials and magazines and on the major catwalks. Why do you think this is, and do you think this is changing?
I don't think it's changing just yet. I think it's because of height. I know I keep banging on about the same thing, but it's height. I'm talking about from my experience regarding the Asian industry. Very rarely do you get women that are 5'11". It makes me smart to even think of a woman that's 5'11". It's very hard to find someone who's 5'11" and fits the bill. So that's why I think it's harder for us to get into mainstream. And maybe there's the stereotypical kind of way of the customers. The whole point of modelling is that advertising clothes, more so, or perfume, whatever they're advertising. Maybe it's a stereotypical way that if on TV there is an Indian woman or a, I don't know, African, whatever, Jamaican woman on TV, they might think it's aimed at just that Indian woman. So that audience might not buy. Whereas if there's an English or Caucasian woman on TV, people might think, oh, well, I'm going to get that because that's the more population in England. So
Ayo was scouted by model students in Nottingham 2 years ago, but it hasn't been so easy for him to book major jobs, and has since taken time out to focus on his studies at university.
If you take a look at magazines, men's, gentlemen's magazines, the likes of Esquire, GQ, there's very limited, like Afro-Caribbean models in those magazines. And so you were usually modelling like, tracksuit bottoms and trainers and stuff. And the other guys are getting to wear the suits and the shirts and stuff. And so like unless I don't know, JD Sports is looking for a model for their magazine, there's not much out there for us. Yeah. It's been hard for me personally to find jobs because generally I think there's less jobs out there for black guys, and so it's a case where I was talking about before that a lot of us are being typecasted. So like we're usually in some obscure jobs in like catalogs and like in a sports section. I think the perception of the photographers, the modelling agencies, the designers especially need to change. I, as a black person, I read Esquire and I don't see anyone to familiarise with. I read GQ, don't see anyone to familiarise with.
Evidently, it seems something needs to change if we want to see a fairer representation that reflects more people in our society, one that is clearly multicultural. Shola Oyebade, the CEO of Mahogany Models, noticed this and set up a campaign which led to the publication of the all-black issue of Italian Vogue. This issue turned out to be the highest and fastest selling magazine issue ever.
We thought, how would we make Italian Vogue the biggest selling edition ever? And so we set up a Facebook group. I think we got over 16,000 members. It went around the world. I mean, we were literally interviewed by Sky TV, ITN, Channel 4, Australian news, American news. It was literally everywhere. And the first print, for the first time ever, completely sold out. I mean, anybody that knows about magazines know that there's a high wastage, they don't normally sell out. Sold out around the world. Did a reprint, completely sold out around the world again. And that's the first time ever that any magazine's done that, and it was because of our campaign. But I mean, yes, that was good for Vogue, but it was also good for black models because it brought the issue into the forefront.
The success of the special edition of the Italian Vogue and the growth of agencies such as Mahogany and Caramel highlight the fact that a change may be emerging, but only slowly. We've heard from some of the models themselves who have shown how the industry is through their eyes. And during the production of this documentary, one thing that has become clear is that it's only those affected and concerned that feel the need to discuss the issue. Otherwise, it is ignored. In this day and age, race or ethnic background shouldn't be a problem, and some people in the fashion world should endeavour to embrace this. If we want to see a fair representation of our society, the solution, it seems, is to keep pushing.